Okay, so ready to dive into Practice Makes Perfect.
Let's do it.
By Sarah Adams.
Yeah.
This one, I think you're going to like this one. It's got that small town charm, and a main character, Annie Walker, who runs a flower shop in Rome, Kentucky.
Yeah, Rome, Kentucky.
But she's got these dreams of a movie-perfect romance.
No.
Don't we all, right?
Of course.
But there's this twist.
Okay.
Her last date actually told her that she was unbelievably boring.
Oh, wow.
So this sends her on this quest for love with a very unlikely partner.
I love that setup. Like, it already kind of gets at, the fact that we have these expectations, right?
Right.
We're all looking for that perfect romance. And so often it's influenced by, all the movies and the books that we consume and what society tells us we should be looking for. I think it's really interesting how the book explores, will she find something that's real,
Exactly, yeah. That tension between the ideal and then the reality. And then enters Will, the sexy, tattooed bodyguard. Who's in Rome to protect Annie's soon-to-be sister-in-law.
Interesting.
And he is the opposite of her usual type.
Oh.
And he agrees to help her, get this, by going on practice dates.
Okay, so this is where I think we see that classic opposites attract trope come into play.
Yeah.
But there's got to be something more to it, right? Like, why would he agree to that? I mean, it really makes you think about what we assume about compatibility.
Right.
And, I always find myself drawn to stories that really challenge those assumptions because, sometimes those differences, they can lead to, some explosive conflict.
Oh, definitely.
But they can also create this really unique harmony.
Yeah.
So it's exciting to see how it plays out.
And I think that's what keeps us, turning the pages.
Well,
we want to see how they grow and change and challenge their own beliefs about love.
Exactly.
So I'm kind of stuck on this. Like, why would Will, who seems to kind of be the avoidant type, why would he agree to this whole scheme?
Yeah, like, what's his motivation?
Yeah.
What's in it for him?
Well, it seems to me like maybe there's some internal conflict going on with him,
Oh, right.
He clearly wants to help Annie, but at the same time, he's got to be a little hesitant, right?
Yeah.
To get involved in her life.
Yeah, small town life.
Small town life. All the emotions that come with that.
Right.
So maybe these practice dates are his way of kind of testing the waters, right? Dipping his toes in without having to fully commit.
Right.
Or maybe it's even deeper than that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a journey of self-discovery for him.
Oh, interesting.
A way to figure out what he really wants from a relationship. Because, sometimes you got to step outside your comfort zone to do that.
Okay.
I really like that take on it. It's almost like he's using it as an opportunity for growth as well. And this whole practice dates concept, I'm fascinated by that.
You too. It makes me think about, like, how much we role play in our own lives.
Oh, absolutely.
And can that help us grow, you know? Or are we just creating this persona that isn't really authentic?
Right. Are we being fake?
Right.
Yeah.
It's a tricky one. I think on the one hand, role playing can be really helpful. It lets us kind of step outside of ourselves, experiment, try new things, see how other people react to us.
Right.
Maybe even learn some new ways of relating to others.
Yeah.
But the danger is that we can get so caught up in the role that we forget who we really are underneath it all. It's a delicate balance for sure.
It is. And the synopsis actually hints to Annie that she kind of changes her whole idea of what the perfect guy is.
Oh, really?
Do you think she maybe starts to let go of some of those rom-com expectations?
I think so, yeah. It seems like she's moving away from the idea of the perfect partner and starting to see the value in a more genuine connection, flaws and all, Yeah. Which I think is really what it's all about in the end, right?
It is.
It's about finding someone who sees you, accepts you, and loves you for who you truly are.
It's real life perfect, not movie perfect.
Exactly. And what's really interesting to me is that this shift, it's not just about finding the right person. It's about Annie's own personal growth. It's about her letting go of those unrealistic expectations and learning to embrace the beauty of imperfection, both in herself and in others.
And then there's this added element of Rome, Kentucky. this small town setting. It makes me think about how much our environment can impact our relationship.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Small towns, everyone knows everyone's business, right?
Yeah.
Gossip spreads like wildfire.
Oh, yeah.
And there's this feeling of being constantly under a microscope, which can be really intense when you're trying to navigate a new relationship.
Right. So do you think that kind of environment would make it harder to find love? Or could it actually intensify those feelings?
That's a great question. I mean, it could definitely go either way.
Right.
On the one hand, you have that sense of community, that support system, you know, people looking out for you, wanting to see you happy.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, the pressure to conform,
Oh, yeah.
the judgment, it can be suffocating.
Absolutely.
So, you know, it's really a double-edged sword.
It is.
Yeah.
So I guess as we wrap up our deep dive into practice makes perfect, it makes me wonder, you know, what are your expectations for love?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Are you holding on to those perfect partner ideals?
Yeah.
Or are you open to something that's more real and messy and complicated?
Yeah, those are great questions. But you know, I think there's an even bigger question here. What if, instead of focusing on finding the perfect someone, we focus on becoming the best versions of ourselves?
Would that make us more open to real love, to connection, to accepting others, flaws and all?
That's something to really think about. Yeah.
Definitely. Food for thought. It all comes back to us in the end, doesn't it?
It does. Well, thanks for taking this deep dive with me.
My pleasure, as always.
Until next time.
Bye.